talking to each other. It really does, makes my heart sing. All right. Welcome to the Blue Hour, presented by the Chicago Poetry Center. Give yourselves a round of applause for being here on a murky day. So great. We want to begin, as we always do, with our land and labor acknowledgements. We want to acknowledge that this event is being hosted on the unceded traditional homelands of the Council of Three Fires, the Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations. Many other tribes, such as the Miami, Ho-Chunk, Menominee, Sauk, and Fox, also called this area home. The region has long been a center for Indigenous people to gather, trade, and maintain kinship ties. Today, one of the largest urban American Indian communities in the United States resides right here in Chicago, continuing to contribute to the vitality of this city and to celebrate their heritage, practice traditions, and care for the land and waterways. We invite you to take this moment to acknowledge all who came before us, the Indigenous peoples displaced by colonization, as well as those who built this country through uncompensated and compulsory labor, those enslaved, and those oppressed. We honor those who came before and all those who continue to live on this land as we hold this shared space for art and expression. Here at the Chicago Poetry Center, we believe that poetry illuminates our individual and shared humanity, fueling thriving lives and healthy communities. Our mission is to connect people in poetry, equitably engage poets with communities, and foster creative literacy in the city and beyond. We envision and work to create a fair and verdant world rooted in artistic expression, human connection, and boundless imagination. There's lots of information about our programs, including our poetry residencies and pop-up performances in Chicago Public Schools on the table in the back. There's information about our Critical Conversations at Work anti-racism program back there. Speaking of which, we have one more chance to participate in an online, free, cross-organization, cross-human version of that. You can find information about that back there. We have a free citywide poetry calendar, so if you want to know about other things that are going on in the city, other poetry readings, literary series, that sort of stuff, you can hit up that QR code. If you run a series, let us know. We'd love to add it to the calendar. Excitingly, I've got a couple of flyers here that are reminding me about things. We have our Poetry at the Green series, which will be starting up, it's Mondays from 6 to 7 p.m. At 320 South Canal Street, starting up June 2nd and running through August. It happens every week. There's a featured reader as well as an open mic. Also, June 18th, we have our annual summer poetry gathering featuring Martina Espada. Super exciting, also sold out. But read your newsletter. Read the newsletter, act on what happens in the newsletter. A little birdie told me we might be releasing some more tickets for that towards the end of this week, so do stay tuned, okay? Watch our social medias and pop on over to check that out. It's gonna be the awesome sauce. All right, great. What else do I need to talk about? Oh, we are live streaming this, as we do with all of our poetry Blue Hour events. Everybody say hello to the people at home. Hello, people at home. Hello, people at home. Love you. What that means for all of us is we have a very cranky iPad, and it doesn't like it when you get too close without consent, and it can't give consent because it's a machine. So, what a time to be alive. What I'd like you to do is to, not get too close to it, okay? Give it some wide berth, right? Okay? Allow the iPad its personal space. Cool, because otherwise it stops and it's awkward and it screws everything up. Great, don't do that. Okay, we're gonna do a 5-person open mic out of all of these fantastic names that are here in this porcelain durian. As I mix these up, which I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know who's in there, but I'm going to encourage you to self-care. Poetry does create feelings, typically. So if you need a break, if you need to grab some water, if you need to step out, please feel free to do so respectfully of the person who's on the mic. We will hear from 5 people, randomly drawn. Each of these people will read either one poem or for 3 minutes, whichever comes first. So if you have rewritten the Odyssey and it's equally long, 3 minutes of the Odyssey. Can I get a shout out from people in the workshop today? We talked so much about the Odyssey. We did. That's fine. Okay. Cool. We are going to first hear from Maddie. There we go. Not later. Come up now. Yes. Howdy. Hey. How many of y'all like dogs? Yeah. Mom says I have puppy dog eyes. I subdued grown men with my panting alone. I nearly married my pulpit with my perfect table manners, and I love you like man's best friend. Your chain never not rattling, and I try to leave, but you say I'm a good girl, a good wife. I am 97 in dog years, so what about the one who has to watch you die? In the quarter century of service it took to stretch my mouth wide enough to be this pit bully kind of breed is a Purple Heart. When he says he wants to get a black mouth cur and teach how to pig hunt, I say I can do it myself. I become the beast, too well trained to put down all the animals he has killed. My father tells me when I'm 9, 63 in dog years, says you have no home but this one. You belong to me, to this. Besides, who would want you with that face? Who would take you in, bait dog, bad dog? And he slips the wedding ring on my finger. Listen, I have been the child bride. I have been the pedigree pup. I imagine all the men I have healed to and called master are swaying to their self-righteous lullaby. And isn't that it? Was I not bred for this bully? Mother, let me be the chamber you load the grief into. Mother, let me die with your hands inside of my chest. Mother, teach me how to get the shrapnel out when nobody else will touch it. Submission is a dog, is a daughter, is a vessel for the sickness of this backyard you keep me chained up in, and when the meat in the fridge goes bad, they drop it in my bowl. A child is a bait pup. A daughter is a dog fight with no one buck betting on her. Man's best friend has a pretty name, pretty mouth, Stockholm fuck toy, eat the bullet from me. Mama, was I made for the beating? To grow into the scar tissue, I can bleed around the mouth and blink blood from the eyes and still never bite the hand that feeds. Heal to the hell dog, call it God. Dad says he'll give me a good name one day when I earn it. He says I'm a mutt. Then pulls the German Shepherd up off the hardwood kitchen floor till she damn near floats up out her choke collar, till it's a halo, just barely touching the other side. Father, teach me how to hold my breath long enough to bore you and put me down. Father, show me how you train a bitch to come. Father, I got you this whole body and taught it how to pig hunt like a black-mouthed cur. I can forgive everyone who has ever forced my mouth open for their knuckles, how they had to shove my nose in the piss for the punishment to form a good enough lesson in me. I healed to the fear keloid and I dropped love's broken neck from my mouth. And I dreamt I was done caving in my chest to your begging paw. I dreamt I was a chicken carcass. I have healed to the ghost, danced to the wolf whistle, licked the wounds till blood's sick, but I'm done with this. These wounds, these welts below my eyes, I am blind and still holding all of this promise in my mouth, where the back tongue is bitter, so I'm done with this. Done with dog ears, done believing love is just a punishment I deserve. Thank you. All right. It's your first time here, Maddie, yeah? Maddie, it's your first time here? Come back. All right, next up we have Hector. That's you, my friend. Upstairs. Yeah. Okay, great. We'll come back to you. All right, go for it. All right. We're going to wait for Hector. Okay. That's never happened before. I love it when new things happen. Okay, let's see. We're instead going to hear from, oh, I'm going to say this wrong, Moises Flores. Moises. Ghost? Well, how do I say it? Moises? All right.
let me know. I called it accidental truth. I've been in love hopelessly. I've been hurt repetitively. And I continue to fall in like an unbreakable cycle with no end. It's so goddamn draining. How do I anchor myself in truth? How do I reclaim that which I let slip through? Like holding a fistful of sand, time passes, and I haven't learned a single thing. I hit that wall like a crash test dummy destined to replay the same accident, hoping the outcome turns up different. They say love thyself, for self-love is the truest form of love. Anything after that, well, that's just extra. And it shouldn't matter as much, or at all. It's small steps that count, but goddamn is it tough. So I love, and will love, and I'll break, and be broken. Because when I find that one, it would all have been worth it. Thank you.
Hector's on his way in. Look at that. Look at that timing! Hector just wanted extra applause. They happened here. I don't even have to draw a name. That's great.
That's awesome.
Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry about that. I left this upstairs. I'm a little nervous. Before I begin, my name is Hector. I'm from Rogers Park. I grew up in this neighborhood. I used to hang out on Viewena Street. And I didn't know I was the bad kid until people said, don't hang out with those kids, those right kids. So I used to hang out, no, it's all good, it's all good. What's great about it is when you're the bad kid, no one really messes with you, they kind of leave you alone. So that was, in retrospect, I was very lucky, because we were right by the Catholics, so it's like good thing. And the reason I'm here tonight is because I was harassing poor Noel there. Because I have a radio show every Wednesday from 12 to 2 on WNUR. I've had it for like a year and a half, and I usually play music, but what I'm trying to do now is incorporate poetry. So if you want your poetry featured on my show, please come talk to me after I'm done. After the show. So this piece is a piece that I created for a multimedia presentation that I did at Northwestern as my final thesis. So I did like 5 poems, they were timed, and this is one of the poems that I did as part of my multimedia presentation. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. Okay. Para comer el pan de cada día requiere la sabiduría de conocer y entender que todo es un juego en la vida, una fantasía llena de miseria, esperanzas y anhelos imposibles, lo sabemos, risas fabricadas, falsa felicidad obtenida para disimular, para destrozar, cositas que brillan, que cantan en coros bonitos, en colores del arco iris, nos dicen, me necesitas, nos dicen, no son tonterías, nos dicen, sobrevivir cada día es un milagro de Dios, al menos nos da un poco de alegría. Thank you.
Wait, all right, now, who's up next? John Woolwine. John.
Hey y'all, thank you so much Marty and everyone at the Poetry Center for doing this. I love these events so much. I did mom poem last time, so I'm going to do a dad poem. It's kind of a sad dad. It's called After the Wake. By some accounts, this will be the warmest winter ever recorded. Dad shades his eyes, says the shrubs need snow, That weight protects their roots from chill. Says last week's sleet dripped straight through, right past the good dirt, where it should have frozen. Spring wants a deep well of ice to flood the roots. His voice bows my head to the path, and I slow my steps to his. These sentences are the most I've heard him say in years. When I was young, I looked up to silence. Arms crossed, his eyes dragged tornadoes across the sky. While we huddled in the bathtub, braced against pillows, yelling for him to come back inside. I pause at the pier, waiting for a call or gust of wings to soften our silence. Do you remember any stories Grandpa used to say to you? He squints his eyes, summoning a pine needle onto the thawed surface of the pond. Your grandpa worked nights at the mine 7 days a week. He wasn't the type for stories. I lean into the wood railing as the geese follow each other past chunks of ice, wings tucked beneath them, one by one, into the wake. Thanks, y'all.
Last poet in the open mic will be Patrick Reardon. Patrick, got a good showing of the workshop folks in
I do a lot of poems about the kind of mythic Chicago, as you'll see from this one. It's called The Archangel Michael. Talk about mythic. The Archangel Michael. The Archangel Michael stopped Friday morning at the McDonald's on Western, just north of Pratt, and sat hunched over the corner table, eating his Egg McMuffin and blazing with the glory of the celestial throne, and was of such incandescence that local TV weather forecasters announced it in bright bulletins with maps, as if a small other sun had landed next to the emptied and forlorn Harley-Davidson sales room, and floating technicians up on the shuttle looked out from space to awe the bright spot on the daylight continent. And the two aisle sides in House and Senate adjourned to the western steps to look out past Ohio and Indiana to the southern end of Lake Michigan, where mere Chicago flared like the earth's great jewel. Love is wide. And he was reading a book of poetry in a language no longer spoken, and pondering his lacks and warts and astral sins, knowing the need of penance, and pushing her foldable steel shopping cart. The small woman, compact in her oldness, saw his tears and offered him a Kleenex from the box she carries in her weathered leather purse, and put a fierce and gentle caress on his virgin hand for a moment, and smoothed the feathers of his left wing as if he were a troubled dog or a child shocked by a tumble. And the surface of the earth opened, and all the dead of all time rose like a cacophonous choir of random voices, random notes, blending in beauty, and then tenderly, slowly, the rapturous radiance faded, and the wings vanished, and the guy at the table was asleep, arms cradling head, body protecting his homeless bags against the window. And he softly snored a dream of First Communion.
God damn.
Thank you.
Please give it up to everyone. All right, we have come to the portion of our night where we get to hear from our two featured readers. Are you excited? Thanks for responding. That would have been awkward. was like, wow, that's a real rookie host mistake to ask a question and not knowing what the answer is going to be. But you are ready. You are ready. You think you're ready. You're maybe not totally ready. But we're going to hear from Keith S. Wilson. And we're going to hear from Nadia Alexis. Those were both almost adequate reactions. You can react more afterwards. Those of you who come to these things know that I'm fond of randomizing an introduction. I'll read your real bios, I promise. But, I was thinking about these two poets whose work is very, it's sort of like if you look at a Venn diagram, they're sort of at the edges of the circle from each other. Well, I was thinking about where that overlap is, and for me, it's that these are poems that provide two very different kinds of roadmaps, but roadmaps regardless, about how we get through this human thing, and particularly how we get through it together. I feel like there is so much in these poems about relation and relationship and what it takes to be in relation with other humans as a human, and like what that costs and what that gives us. And maybe that's just because it's what I'm obsessed with right now, but that's what I'm seeing in these poems, and I'm super excited for you guys to hear them. We're going to start with Keith. Keith S. Wilson is an Appalachian poet and a Cave Canem Fellow. He is a recipient of an NEA Fellowship, an Elizabeth George Foundation grant, and an Illinois Arts Council Agency Award. Keith was a Stegner Fellow of Poetry at Stanford and a Gregory DeJenkins Scholar. His book, Field Notes on Ordinary Love from Copper Canyon, was recognized by the New York Times as the best new book of poetry. Please join me in welcoming to the Boulevard stage, Keith S. Wilson. I don't know, let's see. Can we make it taller?
I can also, it'll be.
You're good.
It's
You're
yeah.
good? I think you're good.
I can project
I'm
as
gonna
well.
stop being awkward. I'm gonna get out of the way.
Hello everyone, thank you. Okay, I'm just gonna get started. I'm gonna read a poem that I wrote about the pigeons by where I live at 53rd, on 53rd Street. I looked it up, and the pigeons that are living there now are like the grandchildren, I guess, of the ones that this poem is about, given how long they live. It's called I Find Myself Defending Pigeons. I love how you never find their bodies, how they never rest their eyes. I love how their breasts are comforters unfolding by their breath. I love that pigeons live in the city, that underestimation never stopped a pigeon from unlatching itself or being old. I want them all unspooling in the air, and bridges that are half sigh and half pigeon. I want to harbor their coo and utilize it for energy. I want to learn to use them the way they want to be used. I want to pigeon-tail into a quiet night, to let their oddness sit in our hands. You can never know a language until you quiet your own. I want people to write about them. They're leaving ships for land, or standing on their own on a marble statue in the shimmer of a field. I want to talk about the term rock dove, argue over whether or not it's imperialist. I want the media to implicate us in the pigeon problem. For a couple to sit with their asparagus and kids and realize none of this is far from them, whatever we think. I want oils and watercolors and inks. I want still life with pigeons, since not a one has ever been portrayed with soul. A flight of them around old bread. And how they're all the same. How all the world is here with them in hate, since they are rats adorned with angel wings. And the children down the street are free to chase their drag. They want to see a pigeon's rouge entirely. Let the pigeon have her pigment. Consider the pigeon's brown and green and everything. The brandishing of his nakedness to the sun as if nothing is absolute. I love the pigeon's shoulders, tongues, and wedding nights. I love the pigeon's place in history, their obsession with living in the letters of our signs. I love their minds, or what I've come to believe is their theology. Who knows? Let the pigeons speak. Ask the closest pigeon for his number, for her middle name, if they are ready to die. If the sky gets crowded enough to consider war,
if their stores are closed on Sundays. I want to be ready for them to be just like us, but more ready for them to be completely different. I don't want to waste any time tracing a pigeon's God to Abraham. I want to get started. Some of us feed pigeons. I love sometimes our care. I love, I think, the park bench. I love apples, but I do not love pears. The weather. I love the pigeons, the revolution of wheel to sky. I love the newspaper graying in a different air.
All right.
So I'm gonna try to read. Everything I'm reading is like the most impossible stuff to read. So that poem is like not lineated, so very difficult to read out loud. And these poems are from my book that is my second book, which is coming out later this year in the fall. And the poems in this book are, some of them are weird. They're visual poems, and so these are some of the visual poems. I can read them without visuals, but I feel like I should hand them out. So. I feel like there's not enough of them, so maybe like one like every other person if possible. But both of these are available online as well if you Google me. So I'll also do a description of them for people who don't get them or for people who can't see them. So the one that I'm going to read right now is the one that is like there's two sides to the paper. One of them is like a dotted line, and this poem's called Bonus Activity. This poem is based on the fact that the Norton Anthology of Poetry, which is like the big anthology that is taught at colleges across the country and has been for like 60 years. There's been 5 editions, or maybe 6 at this point, and William Carlos Williams, This Is Just to Say, has never not been in that anthology. And so this is a poem that if you cut out what I've written here, and then cut out the little boxes inside and lay it over, I think it's like the 3rd edition. I've actually done a version of this poem for every edition. It takes the words that he's written and makes a new poem of it. And so this poem can be read just the left, which is his original poem, just the right, which is the poem that I've written, or across. So it's, it's doing a lot. I'm just gonna read across, including his original poem, even though in this version there are like dotted lines and those words are missing. So this poem is not one that I normally read out loud, but I'm going to give it a shot. This is just to say, I can't deny that I have eaten my words, and again, the plums I maintain yet again, they are for anyone that were intended, if you'll excuse the expression, abundantly to seed the icebox, since they exist in space expressly for that purpose. Except I should say, when they are reduced, and when, in order to enjoy their sugar, a shame you were probably to labor over, saw a thing that is already finished, all in order to have, for breakfast, God's bountiful and purple language. Consider that, in being shared, it encourages more sharing of it still. Forgive me for my sake. Forgive me if I use God as a modifier, if I say, they were delicious in this way, so sweet that language escapes me, and so cold. Every time, can't you see my breath, cannot help but wipe the air. These poems have many of the visual poems have never been read out loud before. So The Uncanny Anecdote, which is on the other side, has been read before. This is a poem that evolved from a conversation I had with Krista Franklin, who is an amazing visual artist and poet, and we were going to work on something, and it didn't end up coming through. But the conversation about robots and all kinds of stuff ended up with this poem. So this poem, which if you know her work, makes sense. This poem is a graph, and it has a hump in it, and then it dips down and then goes back up, so it's like a wave. But it also reminded me of Freytag's pyramid, which is a thing that you learn in a lot of different classes of rising and falling action, especially in plays and all kinds of things. And it is taken from a graph of the uncanny valley, which is this concept that I think is more and more well known. But it is this idea that when people
100% know that something is not human, they're fine with it. And so on this graph, which is like originally meant to be a visualization of different levels of this, the sort of spectrum of humanness. On the far left are things like teddy bears and cartoons, things that we clearly know aren't human. On the far right are things that are so human looking that we actually don't realize that they're not human. So like AI is an example of this. Or when CG is done really well, like in Black Panther or something, where you don't realize that he's not there, that it's all been generated. We're totally fine with that because we think it's human. And then there's this uncanny valley where something, the idea is that something is almost human and that like bothers us. And this, I think, maps onto all kinds of different identities that people are often much more comfortable knowing what your race is for sure, what your gender is for sure, what your sexuality is for sure. And so I took all of that, removed the labels, and put the story of Emmett Till into this. So this is called Uncanny Emmett Till. It has a legend where the dotted line is labeled boy and the solid line is labeled a world. Only in retrospect is an animal worth recognizing. Something surely filled the time before the gunshot. A wolf whistle. Here lies the bullet, call him Ishmael, laying like a nail in the esophagus of the Tallahatchie River. The body. Let the people see what they did to my boy. Lord willing and the creek don't rise. God is good all the time.
Nice.
So I'm going to read one other poem from my new book. It's called Games for Children, and it is through Milkweed. Another poem that is a little difficult to read. Games for Children includes a bunch of visual poems like this, but it also includes regular poems that are just text on the page. And this is one of those poems. It's called Fear of Doors. Fear of doors. 1. My beef with karma is that if I deserve my misfortune, the sneeze that unweaves a muscle in my back, then I might deserve anything I have, even relief. 2. When I'm at the height of my sadness, I'm porous. When I'm fine, I am like an emperor penguin that knows the ice. I say nothing, but I know the color. 3. Money is invented. We should print more of it. 4. I disbelieve balance itself. Let us table flip the cosmos, which cannot know the strange rates of exchange between our bodies. 5. Calm often depends on the unheard labor of others. A village to raise the flag of quiet up. But one cry, even from a bird, unmakes it. 6. Historically, we've called it song. 7. On campus, protesters chant to me, if butchers worked behind glass, nobody would eat meat. 8. We used to have our fingers in everything. 9. I cleaned the bone saws and the cleavers. I knelt below the conveyors and sprayed the hose until the roseate became clear. The butchers joke, leave fingerprints on their gummy candy, their starbursts and sour worms. Only sometimes would they wash their hands. Which is totally true. I worked at Kroger and they like don't wear gloves and they have blood all over themselves and they're just eating candy. Yeah. My job was to clean everything afterwards. 10. Though a building looks nothing like a pair of eyes, they both bring the same fear in me, a flailing as if flying is a possibility just out of reach. 11. Something else I can't reconcile. Nothing is so astonishing as a moth. I mean it. Where they land, they leave silver. If one lights upon your finger or your neck, they are costume jewelry, in their place or in their leaving. 12. I can feel this and be afraid of them too.
They clap like hands devoid of bodies. 12. I have a fear of losing some visible part of me. I saw once in a movie a man lose a finger to a slammed door. 13. I hate to kill them. 14. I close. I open. I wipe the silver from my hands. That's juggling. So I'm going to read the last two poems I'm going to read. One of them, the last one will be Heliocentric, which is the poem that's sort of about the Odyssey, or inspired in part by the Odyssey. But the first poem that I'll read is called Field Notes. It is, so my family lives in Kentucky, and I lived there from the age of, amazing. I lived there from the age of 14 until like my mid-20s. And so I had read the book Bluets, and was trying to, sort of experimenting with doing a version of that, but with the word black, and that sort of evolved into a bunch of racist experiences that I experienced in Kentucky in fields. And so this is that poem. It's called Field Notes. 1. In physics, dark matter isn't made of anything. It's a free citizen that passes unburdened through the field, through itself, through you. 2. It helps to observe from a distance. The field, for instance, as a statement the South has chosen to make. The way whiteness, too, is often rhetorical, as when an older student remarks in those beginning days that only he observed MLK's holiday, while his black friends, working, did not. 3. Sometimes love is a black dot in a field. Sometimes, suddenly, it is not. 4. Or how can black be the absence of all color? Take this cruiser. See the light strike blue off the car like copper through a fountain. 5. There is a difference between what is fair and what is just. For instance, it is fair that I try to love your skin even when it is not touching my own. 6. Whiteness is an alibi. The way the officer was like a steam engine only I could see. 7. Inside, where nothing shows, I am of course not black, but that does not matter to the field. 8. Some colors are indistinguishable at night. Put your hands behind your back, a different cop once asked me. It was so sincere. He was so polite. 9. As a boy, you learn to know the inside without being required to feel it. As when now I understand a bucket or a hood. 10. He asks my girlfriend not if she is white, since even in this light, what we are is obvious. But instead he speaks philosophically. Ma'am, he asks, are you here of your own free will? 11. Sometimes whiteness is a form itself of hyperbole. Try this. Sit in a field. Then try reading Andrew Jackson's quotes on liberty. Only pretend they are being written by his slaves. 12. Look at the word black on the paper, and you will see a definite black, a kind, a certainty. Or if you see nothing at all, that of course is a kind of black too. 13. By the road, my father showed me cotton once. Look at that, he said. All right, so I will close out with heliocentric. I won't talk very much about this, but heliocentric opens with an epigraph from the Odyssey. It's when Odysseus is on the ship and he asks them to tie him down so that he won't be tempted by the sirens that are on the rocks. And the epigraph is, if I beg and pray you to set me free, then bind me more tightly still. I'm striving to be a better astronaut, but consider where I'm coming from, the exosphere, a desk where the bluest air thins to a lip. Impossible to know the difference from where I sit in space. I promise I still dream of coming back to you, settling on your yellow for the kitchen. And we won't fight, not in this manifest, not over the crumpled bodies of laundry. We won't row over the nail polish, its color, the spilled sun. Inspiration is the deadliest radiation. It never completely leaves the bones. You know. From here, there are no obstructions but the radiant nothingness. An aurora borealis opens like a fish. This, to the pyramids, yes, to a great wall. And there you are, moving from curtain to curtain. Oh, to fantasize of having chosen some design with you. But the moons over Jupiter, but asteroids like gods deadened by the weight of waiting. I remember you said pastel for the cabinet where the spice rack lives, that I ought to have picked you up flowers when I had a chance. Daisy, iris, sun, red roses, ultraviolet the color of love. What else but this startles the air open like an egg? I'm really trying to be better, to commit to memory the old songs about the ground, to better sense your latitudes, see the corona of your face. Take your light as it arrives. Earth is heavenly too, but know that time is precious here. How wine waits years and years to peak. What is there to do? I've made love to satellites in your name. I'm saying I don't know when I'll return. Remember me, for here are dragons and the primitive song of sirens, stars that sway Elysian, ships that will not moor, lovers who are filled with blood and nothing further. Who could love you like this? Who else will sow you in the stars? Who better knows your gravity and goes otherwise, to catastrophe? I've schemed and promised to bring you back a ring from Saturn, but a week passes or doesn't manage. Everything steers impossible against the boundless curve of light. Believe I tried for you. Against space. Time takes almost everything away. To you, for you, a toast to everything incredible. I almost wish I'd never seen the sky, when always there was you. Sincerely. Thank you all.
Delightful. All right, we have one more feature. Nadia Alexis is a poet, writer. I have my glasses, I should wear them. Okay, oh, that's so much easier. Nadia Alexis is a poet, writer, and photographer from Harlem. She is the author of Beyond the Watershed by Powder Carey Press, a hybrid poetry and photography collection, and finalist for the Ghost Peach Press Prize. Born to Haitian immigrants in Harlem, her work has been published widely and exhibited in the U.S. and Cuba. A Mississippi Arts Commission Literary Artist Fellowship recipient, 92nd Street Wide Discovery Poetry Contest semi-finalist, Haitian Creatives Digital Awards Poet of the Year honoree, and fellow of the Callaloo Creative Writing Workshop and the Watering Hole. She holds an MFA and PhD from the University of Mississippi. I'm like pausing, so we're gonna like get yourselves ready. Get yourselves ready. Shake it out. Shake it out. It feels good. Shake it out. All right. So, without further ado, Nadia Alexis.
Okay, cool. Thanks for coming, y'all. I'm gonna try to project. Can y'all hear me all the way in the back? Okay.
Yeah, I might move that mic a little closer to your mouth.
Thank you.
Pay no attention to me. Here we go. I just want to point it up at you a little more. I'm going to get a little closer, okay? Okay. This thing is really stuck. Okay, I think you're going to be good.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay. So this is the title poem of my book that just came out in March. The book is called Beyond the Watershed, and the title of this poem is Watershed. I arrive at my father's feet, a dying maple tree. He covers his eyes with mud while goats feast on my fallen hair. I hear my mother call for the Lord to send just enough rain for our lungs and her carnations to see a new season. My mother always said boys are best at taking. I once loved a boy who turned pomegranates in my yard into salt. In the mirror, I see a donkey's head without a home, and she teaches me how to wail for cover. My mother and I kneel on uncooked rice. Sweat of our hands no longer remembers its owner. Our knees become prunes. One night I see my father weep and rock like a forgotten river. How he must know what it's like to fight against disappearance. The longer I stay in the home my lover and I built on this mountain, the more I tire of circadian leaps into the field of cacti. Every year Lake Azuya rises and forces change on the trees and birds and people of the watershed. They no longer believe the water will leave them. I spend nights running from hail and company of vultures. I make peace with the ways my father and I look away from arrows and ruin. My parents make rituals of mourning and I follow in their footsteps anyway. My mother says I can build a new home from clouds, and I believe her. This next poem is called Cantaloupe, and that's all I'm going to say about it. It's a two-part poem. 1. I'm 10 the first time my mom let me split the skin of a cantaloupe without her. My knees still bandaged and burning from a fall I took on the playground that day. While playing tag, a classmate pushes me like she wants the ground to remember it. I don't push back, tell my teacher instead and declare I wish it was a half day. When I get home, I tell Ma I'm aching for sugar and numbing, so she hands me a knife and I lay the tough-skinned fruit on its side, cut the 2 shortest ends and watch them fall like playing cards. I think back to the breaking, stand it upright to make it into a split sun. Ma offers to redress my wound in ointment. I dig up and toss innards like they're memories I want to bury. There is no aloe vera here, cut until cantaloupe flesh resembles square-shaped Lego bricks. Devour slices before I place the others to rest in our Tupperware. 2. My sisters and I climb the plastic-adorned couch in our living room. Mountains of clothes and blankets all over the rug for extra cushion. Today we dive into an ocean, bellies full of fruit blessings and minds still on fire. From a story Ma told us about a black girl in Harlem who could fly like a bird. We want to turn into dolphins and fly. We know we can wish this. Feet steadied, hands on each other's shoulders, knees bent for the journey. There is nothing like the thirst of black girls who believe in their own dreams. Cantaloupe juice can only quench so much. We fly and dive into the water we built, bellies pointed up and down as we lie with bodies transformed into wind. I have a series of poems in this book that are titled Prayer to Ezeli Danto. There's 6 of them. And Ezeli Danto is a Haitian voodoo spirit, and she's also considered like the mother of Haiti. But she's also for protector of women and children who are victims of abuse. So when I found that out, I decided to write 6 poems to her. So every time the poem appears, a photograph that I made appears on the side of it. And each last line of the poem becomes the first line of the next. It's not a sonic crown or anything like that. I thought about doing that, but I decided not to because I didn't feel like it. And I think that's important for given what this book is about. So, Prayer to Ezeli Danto, number 2. I lay in my own blood and remember them enough to write them all dead. Can I ask you, have you ever gazed at your lover and found yourself turned into a time traveler? One day he makes a mango trail of you instead of bruising you eternally, or you are buried alive in a makeshift grave, or you are eating each second of his hands telling you of a kingdom you never knew. And so the story goes, we are given powers we never asked for. Every attempt to leave is a pigeon sentenced to life as a fledgling. Again and again, I fall in what I think is home. People look at me in confusion and say I must like to be held underwater. I'm going to read number 3 that comes right after it. Prayer to Ezra Danto, number 3. People look at me in confusion and say I must like to be held underwater. I want to ask them, do those who stay on hurricane-prone land yearn to sleep in a home that fails to deliver? Does a whale long to be remade with a hunter's bullets? Does the ocean love to be filled with another man's trash? How many seals have closed their eyes, imagined all sharks disappeared, and opened them to a miracle? Do the enslaved not long to be free? Who among you have begged for someone to make you feel bigger than a fire ants in a room full of humans? Who among you have begged for the light to stay at your doorstep? How many times have you imagined a lush field of passion vines and keys to all the doors you wish to escape through? This poem is called I Don't Own Any Watches. I do wear watches now, but back then I didn't. But anyway, I don't own any watches. It's a sad poem, so sorry. My lover told the air not to come around here anymore. It doesn't matter that I wear the pleading so well, how my chest holds a sickness only my lover's watch could have implanted. Saturday morning and no ray in sight as he sits in a dorm room chair, just big enough to keep him from falling. He calls me over, gives me 10 seconds, or he'll teach me an old lesson. The skin surrounding my right eye is still dyed black from his fist the last time his voice fell from his lips that way. 10. Lord, where are your arms? 9. Will today be the day dead bees fall out of me? 8. The inner winding organs rust with hunger. 7. How many bald hands will it take to collapse into numbers? 6. His foot tap against the floor sounds like sunken birds. 5. Will I remember what it feels like to be a woman lodged in an occasional love? 4. I want to be soft beyond the orbit of these veins. 3. I'm ready to bury the gamble. 2. Who has the recipe for making a feast with scraps of time? 1. I sprint to his Arctic lap. Can he hear me conjure? His wrists disappeared into wildfire. This is called How to Be Friends with a Sex Worker. And I guess this is another sad poem, but I think there's some light in it too. So, 1. Sit in the diner, wait for her to arrive, gaze at the sun in the wall, pull out your phone, slide your thumb across the screen, look up and smile when she walks through the door. In 2 weeks, she is 19. Watch her search through lips and eyes undone with hunger. Wave your hand, stand as she walks to the table, listen to the screech of home and the hug you share. Ask her how she's doing, sit down, watch her hair bend in the August of her fingers. She tells you she's tired, but she's good. She asks you what's new. You tell her about the latest fight you're having with your man. She shakes her head and laughs. She tells you about the Craigslist date she had last night and how her pimp took all the money. Bread crumbles in your hand. 2. Jump when you hear the ring. See an unfamiliar number appear on your screen. Pick up the phone. Try to hide the worry in your voice. Say hello. Her voice is loaded with bricks. She says he left her stranded. He took her purse, no phone, no money, no cigarettes. She is in New Jersey. She is cold. He is gone. She is crying. You are not breathing. You close your eyes and curse him again. She tells you he wants to teach her a lesson. You ask her what she needs you to do. She says she'll figure it out and call back. She doesn't. You try to sleep but can't. The sun rises. You call her phone again. He picks up. You ask him where she is. He calls you. Can I curse?
Yes.
I live in Mississippi, so the kids don't curse, and I curse in class sometimes. Sorry. Okay. He calls you a bitch and tells you to mind your business. You call him a piece of shit, promise him he will pay, demand to speak to her now. He sucks his teeth and click. You call back, he hits ignore. You call again, he picks up. He passes her the phone. She says hello. You ask if she's okay. Your chest is lava. She says she's okay now. You sigh and tell her there's no home in this life. She tells you not to worry and that she's really okay. 3. It's spring break. You meet at a bar. It's been weeks since you last spoke. You're late. She looks at you in annoyance. You laugh and apologize. She tells you she's left him. You inhale. She works for herself now. So this is called Language. It's a palindrome poem, which is a mirror poem. The second half of the poem has the same lines as the first one, but it's in reverse. So, language. The ocean swallowed a father. My father's father whole. His father ate too many hearts of chicken and women. My father, one of them. By the time my mother and father walked by the same tree, he was born again into new skins. My father is multilingual. He knows the cadence of clouds after murmuration, the language, algebra equations, American English, rough hands, Haitian Creole, turnbacks and laughter. He taught me how to eat the sun in my own tongue. How to eat the sun in my own tongue. Turnbacks and laughter. He taught me English, rough hands, Haitian Creole, algebra equations, American after murmuration, the language. He knows the cadence of clouds into new skins. My father is multilingual. By the same tree, he was born again by the time my mother and father met his children. My father, one of them. I lost my place. Too many hearts of chicken and women. He ate my father's father whole. His father ate the ocean and swallowed a father. Okay, so this is called Pray, but it's spelled P-R-E-Y, so it's that kind of pray. My lover once said a woman is best with a mouth as a closed door. If she should want to open it, let it be brief and of bright blooms. If she should dare to make herself bigger than a man, with her voice full of restless bells, she must be ready to make war with hands bare. If she can't, she must nail her tongue to a tree's bark, or he'll bury her into earth's belly. I no longer wish to be the ground carrying him, no longer wish to follow rules that drain me of fresh water. Today I am guilty of becoming a falcon, every bit of him for my consumption. For years I have felt alone and dry-bellied, but tonight I am Esli Danto's child, armed with scarred vines and silver. I strike and he falls like leaves under the weight of a half woman, half mountain. Read two more poems. Let's see. Okay, this is Prayer to Esli Danto, number 5. In my dreams, I run across the ocean and become more woman with each wave. Something like you. I fly, bruiseless and renewed by the blue suns. Assemblies of mothers and daughters sing and laugh big until we all fly hand in hand. We sweat and become our own guava horizons. Every coconut tree is a city that welcomes us. No one tries to take the moon from our teeth. In this world, we don't have to lower our heads or bend. Everywhere we go, so does the water. Our hair shimmies at the clouds and makes song with the wind. No rape, no black eyes, no pockets or souls sucked dry. No one to lead us away from this home. Everything we can dream is blooming and true. This is like perfect timing. I'm really glad that I'm gonna stay on time, I think. This is called Someday I'll Love Nadia Alexis, and it's after, I first saw Ocean Vuong's version of the poem, but after Frank O'Hara, after Roger Reeves, after Ocean Vuong, because I read all of theirs. So, Someday I'll Love Nadia Alexis. I know this, but again, we offer our wings for the plucking, because venturing into fire some nights is more home than dancing on moonlit ground. To worship the reach and freedom of our shadows, untouchable. This is what we long for. This is what we know. It's okay that we make feasts of memories that refuse to leave our body. Still, more woman than wound, more festival than forsaken. Nadia, do not forget that you are still here. Here we are made of tulips and singing sunsets, and tide ever returning to the doors of new homes we dream up from thick air. Look how we wear glory and stumble, and jewels we collect with imperfect intention, and baskets we found along the way. A white candle burns for our future. It matters that we almost killed our oceans, that we almost let him bury us too. Sometimes failures are blessings. Every moment we spend putting water and air back into our body is worth getting to the someday we know is waiting. Even as we work to shake fear of extended hands attached to harmless faces that remind us of his smothering, of nightmares of being lost in foreign woods that reject the sun and us, we will not let scars be the only map we see. Consider our mother, the hope in her passed along is field of trees that can't be cut no matter the weapons. Consider our grandmother and hers, all of us, daughters of light and steel, of rivers flowing two ways, of yearly independent soup. We've got machete and our own everlasting, overgrown gardens. Thank you.